Welcome back to Persephone Says. I am so excited to introduce my next guest. She is once the darling of bridal fashion, the name on every single Pinterest board, the designer behind some of the most jaw-dropping, joy-drenched gowns to ever walk down the aisle. With a cult following of brides and a social media presence that sparkled as brightly as her gowns, Hayley Paige wasn't just a designer, she was and is a movement within bridal fashion. But in a plot twist straight out of a legal drama, she found herself in a headline-making battle, not over fabrics or silhouettes, but over her own name. A courtroom tug-of-war over identity, artistry, and control, all centralized around social media. She couldn't design under her own name, yet like all great heroines, she didn't disappear, she reinvented. From the ashes of Cheval to a brand new chapter that she's shaping on her own terms, Hayley Paige is back wiser, wilder, and unapologetically bold. And we are so damn ready. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what really happened, what she learned about ownership, mental health, the high cost of creativity, and where she's headed next. Hayley Paige, that is the longest intro I've ever written. Thank you and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Oh, it's so good to see you.
So happy to see you as well. And congratulations on the new collection. It's amazing. And we were just talking, now you're on a world tour, essentially, trunk show tour. Is that right?
Yes, we are going to be, boots on the ground and delivering some dream dresses to some beautiful brides.
So exciting. And are you going to also be showing in October?
Yes. So we will be showing at One Fine Day, and we debuted separately a couple of weeks ago and wanted to have our own little moment. I call it going off script because obviously a lot of fashion and bridal, everything is kind of to a schedule, but it just seemed like, let's do something that just feels like a nice treat in welcoming the collection back. And so we invited stores out. And so we'll be showing that same collection. However, we have a few surprises per usual.
You always have a few surprises up your proverbial sleeves. And I have to tell you, when I was thinking about this conversation, because I've known you for almost my entire career, we started at very similar times. I was at your first show, the one where you debuted the heart-shaped back, which...
Oh my gosh.
I know.
With Jim. So happy.
I know.
We go way back.
Way back, yes. And you were like the newest, hottest. And then it was, different silhouettes, just different colors, different textures, and more like fun and edge to bridal fashion. I feel like that's what you really infused into, this space for the first time, I think, ever. It was like, a breath of fresh air. So I just wanted to share that with you because I don't think I've shared that with you before. And then...
That's
when
amazing.
I launched Bridal Vogue, which is like the whole reason why I had my company, the first post was yours. And one of your dresses that looked like unicorn textures and colors. I mean, it's still the same, right? The same, but different, but the same. So again, I just want to say thank you because you've inspired me my entire career.
That is so sweet and sentimental, and I did not know that. So thank you for telling me. That's amazing.
Of course. I want to go a couple layers deeper. And for those who might not know, I want to demystify some of what transpired and just at a very high level, like what happened with the rights to your name, your likeness. So I'd love for you to just share.
Yes.
What went down?
I feel like I've told this story so many times that I've gotten to the point where I try to tell it the same, but differently. So it's, it just reads, and your relationship to your story obviously changes as you evolve. But essentially what I went through was a contract dispute, and I had signed a contract when I was 25 without a lawyer and, got right to work, started building my namesake collection. And this was a beautiful chapter, so many gorgeous dresses and beautiful brides. And I was on Say Yes to the Dress, and I was growing my Instagram. And, with that came a lot of additional opportunity and responsibilities and circumstances that didn't really fit into that original contract. And so when that contract came to an expiration date, there was a negotiation period, and there was just a huge delta in terms of the expectations, and a conflict resulted. And then I was actually sued in federal court, and I had experienced my first lawsuit, which really felt like I was adulting at that point. And that was a 4-year period, where I just kind of came to terms with respect to how that contract was being interpreted. And I obviously learned quite a lot about the legal realm, and what to look out for. But more so than that, I think it really challenged me to not only understand better about who I was, but like what opportunities are out there. And so I did pivot. I changed my name publicly. I started a new Instagram. I launched a shoe collection and accessories because it was non-competitive. I was under a pretty strict non-compete, and I also couldn't use my own name in any business or commerce. And so a lot of unique challenges for sure. But, anybody that kind of follows art and singers and artistic journeys, know that those rights sometimes aren't always clear, like who owns. And in my situation, I actually didn't own any of it. And then I also had been under this, what amounts to a 7-year unpaid non-compete. And I had essentially signed away my rights to work in the chosen field that I had spent my whole life dedicated to. So that is also why I wanted to be really public with it, because I wanted people to know that this is a potential outcome, like without you even knowing it. So, yeah.
I mean, when this all happened, transparently, the first thing I thought about was another former designer under your previous employer's, company of brands, who also lost the name and likeness of his own name. Like, is he okay? Like, because you were also touching so many other collections at that time. I feel like you were touching nearly every collection at that time. And I just couldn't believe that someone would enforce this and try to like pull you down. And the beauty of it is that you did rise. I mean, 4 years later, right? It took.
It's really unique to go through what I went through. But at the same time, there has been a lot of activity in contract law where rights are given to the capital investor, and you essentially can make your own rules when it comes to a contract, and that's kind of what I've learned, in all kinds of partnerships, like not just business, but also like when you get a prenup, that's your opportunity to make your own rules in a marriage kind of thing. But I think it's actually pretty common, not just in fashion, but in, again, like look at Taylor Swift, like it happens on so many different magnitudes, and you just don't know what you don't know. And I think a lot of artists, they're so hyper focused on their craft and what they're good at, that the economic side of things, the rights, the legality, like all of that kind of falls by the wayside. And our nonprofit, which I started coming out of this, because I was like, this is a conversation that needs to be had, but it also needs to have advocacy and resources for people like me who are young and really just you want to trust the authority, but you also don't know what you're doing a lot of the time.
Right.
So that's what we kind of wanted to do, is get ahead of a lot of that.
Yeah. And I feel like I am so sorry that you went through this, period. Period.
Thank you.
You are the right voice to make this a thing for other creatives, which I love what you've done with your foundation, being able to give people the information, the knowledge, and support them so much so that they know what's going on and what they want to fight for or not fight for, to your point. And I know just because my own contracts with employees, like non-competes are really not held up anymore. And I mean, I know there's case law because of your case that has been indoctrinated as well, which is pretty cool, frankly. But all of that to say, you went through all of this and now you have your name and likeness. And like, what did it feel to log back into your account? Like, what did you do on that day?
It was pretty emotional because there was a point during, the litigation where I didn't give up, but I did take a radical approach to moving forward with my life, which meant taking this big pivot. And when the settlement opportunity came to light, and it was only through a bankruptcy court that happened for me, it is not common. Like, had there been endless resources, there's a chance I could have still been in this lawsuit 10 years down the road, and
Insane.
I go back to saying, just because things are done a certain way in an industry for a really long time with respect to like record labels and capital investors and how things are done, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily the best setup for success for both parties. And in my case, the Instagram piece was really unique because when I'd opened my account, it was back in like 2011 or 12, like before it became what it is now.
Right.
And I kind of grew up with it.
Yes.
So in that, like I didn't know what I was doing,
Yes.
I also saw it as an opportunity to kind of show up and control my own narrative, post whenever I wanted, And so when that was taken in the lawsuit, it really put a bee in my bonnet because I was like, this isn't in my contract.
Right.
There's no mention of social media. And so the interpretation of it became really important to me that like, this is an opportunity for there to be better case law because it's such a newer thing. We ended up winning the Instagram back in the Second Circuit. So it was actually made into case law and it was based on property law. So for anybody that has like, interest in the intellectual approaches to law and like, how things kind of layer in case law, that was really interesting because it's like, that makes perfect sense.
It actually does. Yeah, because I mean, you're very close with your family. You've always posted your family, your dog, your life. Like it has always been you, and you could feel that it was a living, breathing thing of yours, like your heart poured out. And so there had to have been some technicalities on the fact that it was at Miss Hayley Paige, not Hayley Paige. Like, doesn't that count for something? I don't know.
Yeah, we made a lot of arguments for sure. And, most of it just came down to like the IP, like who opened it, and who was it ever transferred and that kind of stuff with property law. But I will say what was really interesting to your point of it being like a living, breathing thing, right? When I did get that account back, it was like, I think it was May of just last year. So I had it for about a year.
Yep.
And the account did feel a bit foreign to me.
I can imagine.
There was a lot of people blocked on there and there was just like, it was a different ethos. And so I've really been trying the past year to kind of like rehabilitate it and make it feel like it's me again, and also be really courteous with it too, because the audience, I feel like, has been kind of thrown around a bit, and people that did follow the journey, like they know what's going on, but a lot of people that didn't know still, it could be a really conflicting interpretation, what they're seeing on that account. And, I still have these big waves of like, I don't know if it's like bots or something where it's like a mass of people that just drop off. And then I realize it's like these bot accounts that are like 000 following. So I don't know if maybe followers were purchased during a time or something like that. But like, it's just things I don't know what's really going on. So I'm still like a customizing myself to the account.
Totally.
But I'm just so happy that I stuck with Instagram. I was still able to post, just not on that account.
Yes.
So all the glitters on the gram kind of became my personal account. And then I, launched She Cheval, which was another account. So now I'm just account overload at this point, But
Yeah, we can definitely talk offline about that and just cleaning it up, because it probably sounds like they purchased some people, because honestly, I mean, I remember unfollowing that account because I was like, it's not her. We're not giving this a platform. Like we're not going to platform whatever is happening in the background. But to that end, our industry is very like, you're up. When you're down. And it can be incredibly polarizing. I've experienced it myself multiple times, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But did you feel like at any point the industry turned its back on you, or that they were like experiencing what was going on for entertainment's sake, or like what is your relationship with the industry? And I'm sure it's evolved a lot. So
I've had a very positive experience with this industry. Even in, going through what I went through, it was a very isolated situation. It was a contract dispute ultimately, and with everything, there is a participation that is required, and like, it felt like such a community approach to things that I really just never felt like I was going through this alone. And the fact that the industry welcomed me back the way that they did, it really is a testament to in-person experiences, reputation, and just holding on to relationships for what they really are. Mm-hmm. And lucky for me, I've always understood like authenticity, right? Like, mm-hmm. What is it? And it's just being honest. It is being honest.
Yes.
That's it. Whether you're showing up honest, you're saying something honest, mm-hmm. It's just layered in honesty. Mm-hmm. And so luckily I've been able to kind of lead forth with that.
Yep.
And it's been so positively accepted and positively participated in. And
so happy.
That's also why I don't love the term fans for
mm-hmm.
some.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost a little bit reducing of like what this community has been to me, because mm-hmm. it's felt really collaborative. Mm-hmm. And I've actually really heavily relied on critics. I've relied on feedback from people. Mm-hmm. And it's been a very positive experience for me, even mm-hmm. when there's bits of negativity. Mm-hmm. I can kind of choose how I'm going to digest that. And it's on me to make sure it's not impacting me in a really, dark or negative way. But I didn't really experience as much negative as I probably could have.
Good.
So yeah, good. I'm really grateful I wasn't jaded too. So
completely. But also you've always been such a positive, sparkly human being inside and out. And so like despite and in spite of everything that was happening around you, I did see just this tenacity. And with every account that you started, with every business that like blossomed, you could feel that, okay, like your heart and soul was being poured out into these other things. But I also, want to talk a little bit about how you protected your mental health, because again, I know you're so close with your family, as am I, but it had to have taken a toll. And what did you do to like insulate yourself or protect your heart and your mind at the same time?
Perspective is one word that I would use, like how you're choosing to see things mm-hmm. and where you can find the most productivity for mm-hmm. yourself. Mm-hmm. Because when you're going through a moment, it's important to not let that moment define the rest of your life.
Totally.
Right. And so much of the lawsuit was really defined to a very specific period.
Yes,
and
it was.
While it was trying to kind of categorize it like black or white, mm-hmm. and like that's the thing I don't like about law mm-hmm. is that it forces you to be yes or no, or mm-hmm. like black or white. And it's like, It is never black or white. That there's too many variables, mm-hmm. And so I think when you think of multitudes and you think of all these things that are in your life, you really do have to focus on the things that are bringing you a positive experience mm-hmm. that you can grow from. If you're constantly on the defense, if you're constantly feeling victimized by circumstances or things not going well, those are two areas I just know for me, I will not produce good work. I will not be a productive human being. I won't be a joy to be around. Mm-hmm. And those are things that I want for my life. I want to make people feel good, mm-hmm. And I don't want to bring people down with burdens of what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. Occasionally, it's good to let people in. It's good to be transparent with that. And sometimes it isn't all glamour and sparkle and rainbows.
Right.
But the mental health side of things is really tied to my physicality more than anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm lucky that I have my health. Mm-hmm. So during that time, I walked a lot. I did a lot of workouts, listened to some really good music to get you in that mindset of like, life is great. Mm-hmm. And you're so incredibly fortunate what you have, mm-hmm. And even in losing everything, like particularly every dollar I ever made. Financially, yes. It wasn't even zero. It was well beyond.
Right.
Climbing myself out of debt, and trying to start fresh and stuff. That's a really scary concept, but still having like the love of my life interested in me, my parents who have just been unwaveringly supportive, but also like examples of good work ethic and why we don't victimize ourselves, mm-hmm. So I think that all just kept my head on straight. And more than that, it made me feel like we all deserve better at this point, and we've got to work to get that. It's where the discipline meets the gratitude, I guess.
Definitely. I mean, I remember that there were months that passed where I like consciously remember you weren't posting on anything. And I would just DM you or text you and just be like, you don't need to respond. I love you. We're still thinking of you. Like, don't reply to this, but just know that you still have our support, and people are still talking about you, even if you don't see it or hear it or know it. Like, and I was constantly thinking, okay, when I've had heavy times around me, like physicality is definitely my go-to. Therapy is the other one. But I'm so curious, like, okay, so you talked about walks. Are you Pilates girl? I want to know like the specific HP, what it is. Are you telling yourself mantras? Are you journaling? Like, what is it?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate that you recognize that period where I wasn't posting. Because it was like,
yes,
like a 3-month period. And since starting Instagram, I've never taken a break. Mm-hmm. And it was really in the thick of my lawsuit where I was like, I have no good news to share right now. Mm-hmm. And I am kind of searching. And I felt like that's probably not the best time to show up on social media. Mm-hmm. Because I don't feel like an authority right now. Yep. I don't feel like I have stuff together. Yep. I don't want to come off in this vulnerable state.
Right.
And so I just took a break, and it literally changed nothing in terms of like the support system. And, like it reminded me that you can take a break at any time, and you should for yourself. Mm-hmm. But the workouts, going back to that, I just love to sweat. I absolutely love it. Luckily, that is something that's helped kind of cleanse the brain too. And so I do like these like hot box workouts. I like go out on our back, like a patio or on our backyard where it's so hot in Florida.
Yeah.
And I just bounce around. Like literally, like I'll do like jumping jacks and like burpees and like old school gymnastics workouts that are just great. Yep. And I have myself a nice little time. Winnie joined me, he bakes in the sun like a potato, and we do that. I love the gym too, but I don't go as much. But the walks, just long, good hot walks,
totally.
Listen to a podcast like this.
Exactly.
It's so good. And there's studies now talking about why sweating or being in a sauna or in heat is actually really good for you, especially when you're working out, to not work out in like a freezing cold.
Right.
Air conditioned, which every gym is, you get it. But like, it's the hot that gets me. So
yes. Okay. Understood. I like that so much. So you've been engaged, sharp, right? You've been engaged for how many years now?
6 years and 4 months.
Amazing. And did you consciously put a pin in that? Like, I mean, you both are so close, and I love watching your relationship, but it felt like a very deliberate, like, we love each other, but we're going to wait to continue wedding planning or this process. It was an accurate read.
Yes. Okay. It was purposeful to kind of put that on the shelf for a bit. And lucky for us, we didn't feel the pressure to, just elope, or we wanted to take our time with it. And it's actually been really nice to have a super long engagement. Yeah. And I think the only critique is one that I give myself, that it's like, are people like sick of us, like, no. And so, but like, if we're getting married now, and then are people going to be confused because I was married once before, like 10 years ago?
Who cares?
Like, who cares? Right. Yeah. So exactly. It's like, let's just enjoy it. And now that we're on the other side of a storm, we're definitely going to get back to setting a date and planning. But I wanted to get the collection out first and make sure we are rolling again.
Exactly. And I could feel that. It's like all of the loves of your life were back in motion. One had been there next to you the whole time. And so I was like, that has to be, I feel like you're a very intentional person with everything that you do. And so I'm like, I would need that to be in order to move my entire life forward in that way. So it's so exciting. And the answer is absolutely no one gives a damn about anything prior to Conrad, period. So those people are likely divorced at least once, maybe twice. So whatever. We want to see all your dresses. That's what we care about.
Love that. Yes.
And you happy. Are you able to share any sort of details as far as like location, timing, or are you just like, girl, I just got this collection out Ask me later.
We actually did just start looking at some venues more thoughtfully. And we started in Austin because Conrad grew up in Austin and we saw some great venues there.
Yep.
And then we're going to go look in Northern California because that's where I grew up. Yep. And then Conrad went to college out there. So we're going to look there too. Okay. But then like some nights we're just like hanging out. And we lived in New York for so long that it's so to us that we're like, can you do like a New York wedding? You know, like, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Are you feeling like any pressure to be as public about your wedding as you did in the past? Or do you feel like you can hold that closer to your heart and then like when you're ready to share, you can share it?
Oh, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. I'm really open because Conrad has actually taken a pretty big step back from social media and from being like in front of the camera. And he did a big pivot in his career. He's now in real estate and investing. And, you know, it's been nice to kind of have a little bit of anonymity in that way. And one thing, like I'm getting into a bit of a tangent here, but one thing with social media and how it's grown is like, there is this kind of pressure or anticipation of people to be both a creator and a critic.
Yes.
And for me, I don't feel comfortable being a critic. I don't like critiquing people. I don't mind getting criticized, but I don't like critiquing people. So I'm trying to really focus my social media on creativity and like where I have like qualifications, right? And so that's kind of helped free me from feeling like I have to have an opinion on this, you know, or I have to, this is a viral topic. I've got to make something about this viral topic. And you become so dependent on what is hot that you can sometimes lose sight of like what actually you want to say and do. And so that's just an exercise I've focused on. And so with it being a wedding, you know, that kind of fits in the category of, you know, creating. And I think that there's going to be a natural desire to want to share it with people and feel like they can experience it too. So I would imagine we would want to still feel like we're getting married and everyone's invited kind of thing. And it's not meant to feel performative in that way. We've waited this long. So obviously we're not like rushing. So yeah. And I would defer to Conrad too, because like at this point he's kind of taken a step back. So I want to make sure he's comfortable with us sharing to what extent we are. But
obviously I have a marketing agency. I've been so in awe since the day you started on how exactly you have created this brand. And was it was there a method to the madness? Did you have a team who was helping you execute this? Like, pull back some of the organza layers for me there on like your process from a brand strategy perspective.
Layers is the perfect way to explain it. And I sometimes symbolize like my journey in life or my love story with the making of a dress, because how I go about my development process is definitely in layers. You know, you start with a sketch and then you go to the artwork and you develop the fabrics and you start to layer the fabrics to get that color just right and to make textures well and the construction. And so there's so many facets that go into that dress. And it's helpful for me to think of life that way as well. Is it like, if this hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened. And then what if I had never met Conrad, you know, and like, you start to just really appreciate the thoughtfulness that goes into it. And I think with my brand, one thing that I have always kind of approached from a design perspective is that it's bride first. It's always been. And, you know, because without that connectivity, there is no brand. And that's not just like a surface way of saying like, oh, we're customer first, because all brands, you know, say that. But for me, really, like a lot of the reason I do this is because I get so much validation from that. And it's one of the only areas in my life where I have really felt confident in that my role as a designer has really been created because of her.
Make me cry. You can see that though from you. You can feel it from you. Always has been, always will be.
Yeah, thank you. And it just feels very collaborative. And that's what I want to hold on to, you know, and especially in a journey where I do feel like there was a point where I lost it all. Like I lost, the ability to do what I loved. I lost an Instagram, so the connectivity, and that mindset would have been totally detrimental to me moving forward with my life. The relationships are what have been the most important, is like being able to still call them my brides, even when it wasn't looking good,
Right.
And so like holding on to that. And then now to be completely rebuilding from scratch, starting the assortment all over, and knowing that it's a community effort, just gives you a little extra security in the branding, where it's going to go. It's not on me only, which is a nice feeling. It's like, okay, we've got this. So that's the brand mentality, I think.
I love that. And just going even deeper into the technicalities, I think you had shared with me once upon a time that you were managing, obviously, your Instagram page, but all or most of your social channels. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but I feel like when somebody takes time out of their day to message you, and it might seem overwhelming because you've got tons and tons and tons of messages, and like you look at your DMs and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's just bite size, like take it bites at a time, stay close to the fire, because these people, most of them are very much in your corner, cheering you on, and they have so much value to bring to your brand. And so for me, it's like, I want to try to do that as much as possible and not try to pass off too much. At this point now in the rebrand, we have a business account, which is Hayley Paige Bride.
Yep.
And I have an amazing content creator to help with, some of the videos I make and the ideas we want to go. And that has been an amazing resource to kind of help make sure I can keep up with everything. Sure. But I love the idea of people knowing it's me in the DMs with you, and that I am asking, you are responding to what you're asking.
Totally. So you can tell that it is you. And going back to just like the beginning days of your brand, I think about some of the things that you've said and done, and then look at, honestly, Taylor Swift, and then looking at even like the popularity of Wicked. There's little elements of things that you did way before all these people did, of like making up these really cool words and like just making something feel sparkly and new and have like a little rock and roll edge. Like these are all things that you made and you infused into a space that was like kind of one-dimensional, right? And I'm wondering how you, like, where are you pulling, not inspiration for the brand, but like what's getting you jazzed up about this next cohort of brides?
I love a good rabbit hole.
I love that.
I think with design, it's so easy because inspiration itself is pulled from storytelling, and it's like, I am certainly not the first one that's thought of like, how do we, make this a little more meaningful? And with wedding dresses, it's such an emotional purchase. There's such an attachment to the experiential side of saying yes to the dress. And when you have that, it almost makes it so much easier to design from a place of thoughtfulness and like real sentimental attachment to things. And make sure it's kind of carried through. If you do the best work you can to get that dress out there with real meaning, or let's say it's a personification in a way. Yeah. The minute she's in front of a bride, this dress transforms. It becomes hers. It's her story to carry. Yep. So it's nice to be able to kind of set a table first, right? And then to allow her to take it and run with it. I love that. It's kind of how I think of it. And I know with branding, again, it's like everything is story, right? And it's like, but this is definitely a story. It's meant to feel that way. And it's really made that way too. And so I don't know where it really came from, to be honest, or like why I kind of choose to approach it that way. But it has allowed me to experience a much deeper connection in being a designer. And then, yes, it's a beautiful dress. And we love that. But you also know that it's got this, so it adds that bit of mystery and like exploration or experience to it.
Totally. In regards to this next collection / like this next version of you, how are you looking to change things? Specifically, you just came out with a different way of sizing. Like, I was like, of course, you are the voice to do something different and change the way that it's been done. But like, are there other things that you're thinking about? And I'd also love for you to speak about fleur couture.
Fleur couture. Perfectly said. I really wanted to have these little nuances to the brand that feel like we're trying to reinvent certain things, but in reality, we're just making it part of our brand ethos and like how we connect to girls. The size chart in particular is something that I've actually I've been thinking on for quite some time. And in how I was taught design and sewing and skill and all this, it's so measurement focused. It's, what are your measurements? Yes. And then you start to realize that a dress size is a made up number.
Right.
It's just a way to categorize the measurements. And so it's easy on the production side of things because you're like, okay, you're this size. We're going to cut this many tickets in this size, and that's going to keep it organized.
Right.
That means you just need a categorization method. And it doesn't mean it needs to be a number.
Right.
Certainly not one that's increasing. Why does it need to increase? It doesn't even need to.
Right.
So basically I was like, let's come up with something that's a little more delightful, right?
Yes.
And audible. So we decided on fleur couture because flowers are growing, blossoming things. They change shapes, they grow, they're radiant, and they're all unique. So let's correspond measurements to flowers, and let's not have this moment that feels sometimes like a buzzkill when you like say yes to the dress and you're like, I'm so happy. And then they're like, oh, you're this size. And you're like, wait, no, I'm not, and like, bridal is very antiquated in its sizing. It's based off of couture sizing and run small. It runs small. And so if you're normally, a 10, you might be a 14 in bridal. And it's like, who cares? Like, I just
unwell.
Here's a flower. Like,
yes, I love that. No, I mean, in essence, you're protecting women's mental health because I've been there at Kleinfeld. I mean, you've seen so many women where you're just like, it makes you feel a certain kind of way. And so by doing that, you're like completely removing any sort of negative feelings within a wonderful, positive experience. Like, why tarnish that for some stupid effing number? Like, enough. So I love that so much.
And I also understand the critique because like, I did think about like, what people are going to say something negative because they always do. And I was like, I'm not somebody that's like, we have to avoid discomfort at all costs.
Right.
Or we have to protect. Like, that's not really the approach. It's that this experience in general is a very exciting, joyful, positive thing.
Yes.
And this is not where you should feel discomfort at all. It's something where actually this is your moment, honey, and let's make this as special as we possibly can. So other parts of life, yes, there's going to be moments where it's not ideal, but this is that you shouldn't have to go through that. So
yes. I love it. I love it. Are there other things that you're thinking about? I don't know if you're able to tease it, that are like that, where you're like, we're going to fix this thing, or we're going to start changing this thing. So
yeah, there's one other thing that, actually there's a few, but one other thing that I have not really shared a lot on yet is that we are going to have something customizable. And it has to do with the fact that I went through this whole like name loss and name regain and like my name, and I'll give you a teaser.
Please.
It's that, when somebody says yes to the dress, it is no longer my dress, right? It's her dress. And really it should be about her and her name and her dress. So I'll just leave that there as something that we're going to be doing going forward for the dress. So.
I'm so excited. Thank you for the Easter egg. I'm so excited to hear and see what that means. And I'm sure you'll be sharing soon. Now, I wanted to wrap this up with a couple of rapid fire questions for you. So you're on TikTok, but I want to know, because you said you love a rabbit hole, some of your favorite / weirdest TikTok follows that you just love right now.
My TikTok right now is a lot of dog. It's a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
I get stuck on these like rabbit holes of like dogs that are trying to communicate to their humans.
No.
Sounds like they're saying like, I love you and hello.
Stop.
And compilation, like whoever puts these videos together is absolute genius because like, it's amazing that these dogs are trying to communicate.
Right.
And so I have that. And a lot of like the dog voiceovers where it's like,
yes,
day in the life of the dog.
Yep.
And it's so cute. So I love that. I would say I also have a lot of astronomy and like Carl Sagan, like, every week it seems like there's some meteor shower, there's some eclipse or something, and I like nerd out on that stuff. I love, star stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of that.
I love that. Are you also an astrology girly?
I am. I totally am. Even though we get a bad rap, like
no, we're all here.
Beautiful fiance is a Taurus and I'm a Virgo, and we get along so well. And I like to think it's because he's a Taurus and I'm a Virgo.
I love that so much. Did you do anything cool or witchy for a Lions portal?
I mean, I tried to manifest some good things the other day.
Okay, good.
Because,
that's good. I was out there in my yard writing and lighting all the things and all the crystals. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm like my free flag fly.
You can't do any harm.
Exactly. Something has to work. Okay, that's awesome.
You have to have a bit of whimsy to face the, ratchet that is the world. So hold on to that.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about your favorite childhood cereal. Isn't it so specific?
It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh,
hands down, without a doubt.
One of the best. Yes.
I had Cinnamon Toast Crunch. My sister had Reese's Puffs.
Ooh.
Do you remember Reese's Puffs?
Of course. I don't even know if they make those anymore.
I know. There's probably something in them. But yeah,
probably.
And it was also Conrad's favorite cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So we always try to incorporate that into like our baking.
Love. We're going to talk about the baking in 1 second. Tell me about an oops moment at a runway show of yours.
We had a busted zipper once. It's literally the scary, most mortifying thing that can happen as a designer is backstage zipper pops because the zipper holds the dress together. And if you don't have a zipper, you can't zip the dress. So yeah, that was mortifying. And we had to basically rapid fire sew the model into the dress and fix it after. But nobody knew, but the destruction inside that you feel when you're like, who is this designer? That moment.
No one probably knew at all, but the cortisol spike was still there.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Understood. Your go-to karaoke song. I know this must be hard because you're such a musical person.
Oh, don't stop me now. Definitely Freddie Mercury.
Love. I should have known that actually. Your favorite Disney princess?
Sleeping Beauty.
Ooh.
Briar Rose.
Oh, good one, actually. Kind of a deep cut, actually. Yeah. What is the best meal Conrad has made in a cook-off challenge? I miss those. I want those back. Like, he can be faceless. I
know. We still do it all the time. Mostly he's taking command of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And, I sneak in a little picture every once in a while, like these amazing spreads. Like, he's actually become a legitimate cook. Like, he's so good at cooking. Yeah. And I just get to sit there and eat it now. Take off ever because I just but I will say, okay, so I am a big steak fan.
Really?
He makes an amazing steak.
Ooh, there you go.
Perfectly made. And we do this like side with like oil and garlic.
Yum.
Just put it all over. It was so good. But the other day he made this like filleted branzino, and I'm not like a fish girl, but it was amazing. And he made it with like this like roasted potato, like cheddar
situation.
Thing. Oh my God. It was like a whole.
That sounds so good. That sounds
very good. And he's really good at like the whole taco bar thing. And yeah, so I am lucky. Very, very lucky.
Very lucky. Very lucky. Especially if maybe all you have to do is clean it up or just eat it. Either one.
I do. I will clean. I will do the dishes, especially if I have this wonderful man making me
Exactly. That's our rule in our house too. Whoever, cooks, the other one cleans. So I feel like that's like happy life. All right. Last question. What is one piece of advice you'd give to other female entrepreneurs?
The fact that everything is temporary. And when you're an entrepreneur, you go through so many setbacks and so many moments where you feel like you're spinning your wheels. And it's just really important to remember that it gets better, like just do not give up, keep putting in the hours, keep putting in the time. The work ethic and the discipline and all that will not go unnoticed. And that those failures, those things that are happening that aren't going well, you're just finding ways not to do something, right?
Yep.
And it's still helpful for you. So that part of the equation is very important for an entrepreneur. And so is the other side of the coin. When things are amazing and you're hitting it big and everything is sunshine and rainbows, like, do not be a jerk to people.
Yes.
Like, keep your humility because something could happen. And
you
that
never
moment,
know.
right.
You never know.
And like, you still want to appreciate who you were. Did you keep your composure? Were you kind to people? That stuff really matters the most, whether you're struggling or you're on top. So that's the message.
I love it. I love talking to you. I could talk with you all day long. I wish I could give you a big hug and thank you for joining. I know. Where can people find you for the 5 people who might not be following you? Where can they follow you officially?
I have like 1 million Instagrams at this point.
Shoot them out.
You can follow any one of them or all of them. But yeah, Miss Hayley Paige is very excited to have her back. And then all the glitters on the gram. And we have A Girl You Might Know Foundation. We have Ball. We have Hayley Paige Bride. We have Miss Winnie Page.
I know. I love that she joined the chat.
I know. She pushes me off this chair all day long. And then I switch chairs. And then she wants me on that chair. So it's chairs all day.
She just wants to be with you. Well, thank you so, so much for your time and your heart and your energy. And I'm so excited to see what is to come. And I'm sure would love to do another episode with you in the future.
Thank you. I would love to come back anytime. I love chatting with you too. And I wish we lived closer.
Me too. Me too, my dear. Thank you. And I appreciate you so much.
Hope to see you soon.
Yay.